Liberals and racist black people are genuinely upset at SAQUON Barkley for hanging out with Donald Trump. I mean, they're getting to the point where they're physically nauseous. It's actually ridiculous. Y'all don't learn, do y'all? Like, at all. Y'all don't learn. I mean, seriously, this happens every single time a celebrity or an athlete meets up with Donald Trump, and the left is immediately ready to shut them down. They're ready to cancel them. They want nothing to do with them. I mean, it doesn't even matter if they used to adore them in the past. Now they're dead to them. Seriously, that's how it works. And don't let that person be black, by the way. Oh, Lord, don't let them be black. Because then the racist blacks are coming out the woodworks ready to tear them down. Seriously, they're calling them a sellout, a coon, all sorts of terrible names, right? And then they're going to attack their girl, too. If they're with a black girl, they normally don't say nothing too much, but they'll say stuff like, oh, how you going to let that man embarrass you like that, sis? You need to get away from him. Or if he's with a white girl, oh, my God, the meltdown is absolutely insane. They're calling him every single name. They're attacking his girl. They're attacking his relationship. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. He with one of them white girls. That makes total sense. Like, bro, how do y'all expect to get anybody on your side acting like that? Acting like a literal cult?
I don't care that SAQUON Barkley went golfing with that orange man that y'all made president of this country. I don't. I could see why he would think it'd be cool to golf with the president. After all, he went golfing with Obama. A lot of people are saying they're not surprised because he has a white wife and mixed children. I don't care that SAQUON Barkley went golfing with that orange man that y'all made president of this country. I don't. I could see why he would think it'd be cool to golf with the president. After all, he went golfing with Obama. A lot of people are saying they're not surprised because he has a white wife and mixed children. While I understand that sentiment, I'm not the kind of black person that is determining somebody's blackness or whether they're with it or whatever based on if they have a white partner. Like, I just want black people to get married. Marriage, then kids, please. I just want us to normalize that in our community.
Stop the
However,
cap.
SAQUON, I am judging you for giving black children to a racist white woman. I mean, come on, bro.
But it's disappointing to see black men perform like that. You know, we talk a lot about the challenging times we're in right now. And so when I see, someone that's representing my city, my hometown, something like that, all the challenges that black folks are dealing with and will continue to deal with next several years, I have a serious problem with it. And like I said, he was getting cooked yesterday, and rightfully so by black folks, particularly black folks in Philly. We're not trying to hear that. Roland, as you well know, Philadelphia has a long history of black activism. So it is the wrong city for that nonsense. And I'm quite sure he'll hire some PR person, and you'll see within the next few months, him come out, we'll talk about he's donating scholarship money to, one of the local HBCUs or UNCF or something like that. You'll see something like that over the next couple months. But he can't get back what he lost after being the offensive player of the year and lead my squad to the Super Bowl. But I was extremely disappointed to see a brother doing that yesterday. So that's all I have to say.
Do y'all got an issue with SAQUON Barkley golfing with Donald Trump?
I don't.
Everything.
But
I don't care.
yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. But what I got a problem with is him kind of backtracking. Him saying, look, I was with Obama also, so y'all just gonna have to stop it. And it's like, look, bro, you ain't gotta respond to
Yeah,
all
you ain't gotta
stuff, you know
respond.
what I'm
You could
saying? Just go do your thing, man. We get it.
Malcolm Jenkins called out SAQUON Barkley. Malcolm Jenkins did not like what SAQUON Barkley did for going to the White House and visiting Donald Trump. For that, Malcolm Jenkins, shut the fuck up. We don't care what you guys say, bro. I know people gonna say like, oh, but Malcolm Jenkins, he's the sports figure. He's the sports figure when it talks about equality. Who cares? Who cares that SAQUON Barkley wants to go to the White House and visit Donald Trump? No clown for saying that. This whole statement that you're saying to SAQUON Barkley is foolish. You know how much SAQUON Barkley has done for the Philadelphia Eagles in one season? Meanwhile, you wasn't even the best position player in franchise history. You weren't even better than Brian Dawkins. At least SAQUON Barkley, he can say, and others can say that he's better than LaShawn McCoy and Brian Westbrook. And those two players can say so themselves. It's crazy to me. I am tired of these loser fans, these loser players that's going to talk shit on SAQUON Barkley's name.
Now, I know a lot of you enjoy entertainment, your favorite artist, podcaster, athlete, whatever that is. They have a script. They have a job. They are paid, and they are works for hire. They are not necessarily there to speak to what your communities need, defend the Constitution, or defend your human rights. Oftentimes, they're paid to do the exact opposite. Entertainment is cool when convenient, but just remember, entertainers are not leaders.
And I don't want to be a part of it. This some different kind of shit.
We need a reset, family, man. We need a reset, family. Where do I begin with this one? It seems like the same old playbook. It seems like the same old playbook, man. So your boy, or rather man, he is a man, SAQUON Barkley is receiving hella backlash all over the internet and essentially real life, right? And all because he took a personal visit to the White House, went golfing with President Trump, also found himself, getting to know Trump's family, playing football in the backyard, etc. You could call it a glorified photo op nonetheless. To me, he just went to go check out the president. I mean, if you gave me an opportunity to sit with the president, I'm not turning it down. It is what it is. But I'm not a celebrity. And speaking of celebrities, we're going to get to that. That's the main topic of the video. Different people of notoriety had different takes on this issue. I'm curious to know all of y'all opinions, but man, it's so much I want to say, but I got enough content to give this a more thorough, right, non-biased view of the entire matter. So what I want to do is start with this individual right here, because I thought he had a pretty good angle. So listen, man, one of the most base takes that I take, or rather took, on this entire subject and topic was Rob Parker and his co-host on The Odd Couple. Shout out to Rob Parker. I thought this was pretty chill, and I just want y'all to check this out for a second, and we'll get back to the video.
Does it affect whether or not you root or how you feel about somebody else? And I mean, you have two guys on the same team if you're an Eagles fan. And if you don't like who's in the White House, are you now even a bigger fan of Jalen Hurts because he didn't go? And if you are a fan of the president, are you a bigger fan now of Saquon Barkley? You know what I mean? That he did go and embrace Trump and the whole 9 yards. I think that there's something to that. People find out who you keep company with, and it changes how you look. Is that fair?
It does. I want to read a quote from Saquon Barkley here. He put on his, I think it was his Twitter. He said, LOL, some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president. He put that president in all caps. And he went on to say, maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand. And you fast forward a little bit, he went again. He said, now y'all get out my mentions with all this politics and have an amazing day. He concluded it with. So I said that to say this is where it gets interesting. And this is where, to me, I enjoy having these nuanced conversations with you, my brother, because it's not as easy as, man, don't go to the White House. Or it's not as easy as, I should be able to go to the White House because, it's the president. I respect the office. Because there's layers. The reason why you mentioned oftentimes it wasn't a big deal historically, whether it was a Democrat, President Clinton, whether it was President Bush, Republican, most of the time, most teams went, most players went. But now things have become so divisive. Things have become so, I call it gang related. You're either red or blue, almost like blood and Crips. You're either left or you're right. You're entrenched in it. You can't have friends who are the opposite side. You're ready to fight people. People have to be secret about it. And it's gotten to that point. And let's just be fair. Trump previously and now, the way he conducts himself has been unlike any other president. So he's added fuel to that fire.
It was not good. I called that one. That was an easy one to call because he played damn well. And by the way, I have to tell you something. I was with the Giants and the head coach and some people, and I said, do anything you have to, but don't lose Saquon. They lost Saquon. That was not good. I called that one. That was an easy one to call because he played damn well for the Giants. I can tell you that.
So yeah, you hear Rob Parker and his co-host, pretty base, neutral positions on this issue. I mean, they work for Fox, so I was curious to see which way they would, slide into, but they stayed neutral. It's really much about nothing. And as the co-host on The Odd Couple, Rob's counterpart said, it's almost like Crips and Bloods. It's like you got to pick a side. Forget that the White House represents everyone, regardless if you like who's sitting in office or not. And before I go more in depth with my own point of view, what I want to do is bring out the usual race baiting suspects. They had a lot to say, y'all. And I just want y'all to check this out, and we'll be right back.
Another brother. What is going on? Well, that's what people are saying on the internet. The internet's hot because this is Saquon Barkley. Obviously went to the White House to play golf, flew with Donald Trump. And then this picture came out and folks are roasting him saying, what are you doing, black man? It's always risky to do that, especially in this environment that's where Donald Trump is so divisive. So SAQUON felt compelled to respond. Respond by laughing, saying, LOL, I flew with Donald Trump, played golf. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand. Okay, here's the thing. That's not a hard concept to understand. But when you care about the office, but the person who occupies it doesn't care about it or doesn't respect it, that's problematic. I'm just saying. SAQUON, not.
That was he took a little hit because he was. Let me go ahead and pull this up, y'all, so y'all can just see this here because he flew from Philadelphia on Air Force One with Trump, and man, he was just so excited, just so happy to be in the presence with Trump, and look at him just enjoying himself and. Just ooh man, I'm here with Daddy Trump. I'm here with Daddy Trump. So that was SAQUON, and them getting on Air Force One, and again he's all happy. And then they took a photo in the Oval Office, and folk were talking about that and everything, and just how wonderful it was, and how it was just great to be there, all smiles and everything like that. And that was
when a black person does it, I can always when it's a black person, I can always tell what kind of black person. I can always tell what they are.
Whoa, wait, what does that mean, Dio?
SAQUON Barkley, he had a girlfriend that threw around the N-word a lot and said she wasn't a gold digger and she wasn't messing with no broke N-words. He looks like that kind of guy that is indifferent to what black people go through. It's just true. And I think I've noticed that to be consistent with a lot of black people who show up. They have a shoe booty aspect to them.
Well, suppose I did not know that about his girlfriend. I mean, I know who his girlfriend is, but yeah.
So to me, he seems like the type of guy who would do that and be indifferent to what's happening to black people.
Can't you separate the honor from the person?
I think you can't squeeze honor out of the unhonorable. He's an unhonorable man who assaults black people, insults our history on a daily basis. We're not talking about somebody that just we having a political disagreement with. We're talking about somebody that's erasing Harriet Tubman and the Tuskegee Airmen and disbanding black history. There is a reason that the black men, the black people who they have a certain affect about them, they have a certain way about them. They seem to be indifferent to what is happening to black people and to not care about it. And I think he seeks them out. I think that just like water seeks its own level, those kind of men and women easily show up at these events, and they're great for camera fodder, and they all have the same affect about it. I'm not shocked that he dated a white girl that said the N-word, threw the N-word around. He looks like the kind of guy that would do it, and the kind of guy that would do that wouldn't care about what happened to black people, and wouldn't think it's no big deal to go to a function where a dude assaults our history on a daily basis.
He didn't create this honor. This is a time-honored tradition.
He destroyed this honor. It's a time-honored tradition to have a peaceful transfer of power. It's a time-honored tradition to honor the Constitution. So let's Donald Trump, by any stretch of the imagination, it doesn't bear a semblance to any president we've ever had before. And now you're trying to act like he's presidential, and he is not.
Donald Trump, one of the things everybody says about him, and I know this somewhat to be true from personal experience back in the day, he listens to the last person in the room. And so I get it, that you're probably not going to change a lot. But if you have the ability to, he reversed himself on tariffs because certain people quietly got in his ear. So if you're just out of the game, good luck to you for the next 4 years.
Do you really believe that somebody could change his perspective about the way he sees black people? He hasn't apologized for the Central Pop 5 almost 40 years ago.
He doesn't apologize.
He has not apologized, and he keeps saying that. This is not conjecture. You can look it up. Donald Trump has a certain lack of respect for black people, and he demonstrates it all the time. And I think any black man who goes, or black woman who goes to see him, has an air of shoe bootiness around him. They do. It's not shocking. It's shocking to me that a dude who would go see Trump dated a white girl that threw the N-word around. It's not shocking to me.
So you saw different people, Donald Sweet Lemonade with his take, Roland Bullfrog Martin. He's becoming irrelevant, so I really didn't care what he had to say. Just like Donald Lemonade, I really didn't care. But I found it interesting that this person has championed himself to become one of the biggest thorns in my life, man. And I'm sure with a lot of black folks, or enough black folks, and that's D.L. Hughley, man. As y'all heard his dramatized version of being butthurt, this is the same man that had a child on his wife, and that's not really, the incriminating thing, but he let that said outside child basically abandoned that child, right? And that child passed away. I'm just going to say it bluntly. That child was unalived by his side piece's boyfriend. And you just wondered, had DL been in the life of his child, could that child have gotten a chance? I don't know, but I'm just saying the hypocrisy is insane. I just want you guys to understand how crazy this thing is spiraling out of control. Now, John Pavlovitz, cannot pronounce his name properly, but it's Pavlovitz. This particular guy is a pastor, a Methodist Christian, liberal pastor, might I add you, who's famous for a decent column. It's not great, but you know, he's known for one of these pastors that champions the cause for accepting homosexuality in the church. Now, surprisingly, and I say this very leniently, he's married with 2 children. But imagine this guy trying to talk to you about your blackness. He puts up a post about Saquon's visit to the White House. And he says, "Hey, Saquon Barkley, as a fan, I'm disappointed you didn't realize what a bad look it was for you to be playing nice with a guy who, if you didn't have fame or a Super Bowl ring, would have complete contempt for you. Worse than that, you didn't have the maturity or humility to think beyond yourself. To people of color who don't get White House invites, those who aren't photo op drops or props," he says, "and whose only contact with this president will be through the predatory..." I'm sorry, I can't get through this without laughing. The audacity, man. Will be through the predatory legislation, dehumanizing language, and lawless abuse of power that places them in harm's way. So yeah, imagine someone like this telling you about how your blackness should be for the optics because you dare take a trip to the White House, which is being overshadowed by President Trump. I mean, it's amazing how you guys are really drinking that Kool-Aid, man. I feel like I have to remind you guys about who Saquon Barkley is. And no shade, but any man that attends the Met Gala, ladies and gentlemen, I could care less what he does politically as long as he's not representing me. You attend the Met Gala, I have no qualms about you meeting President Trump, man. That's how I feel about it. You guys are up in arms about a man who's attending the Met Gala. Let this shit make sense, please. Please. Now, I won't hold you. You know, I don't like being hypersensitive like a lot of you, because I saw people making, you know, jokes about this picture right here, and I'm sure they're gonna turn it into a meme. But it is kind of funny when you're looking at this photo, and I'm sure it's just a bad angle. Maybe Saquon was looking in the direction of someone else. I haven't seen who he's staring at, but in this picture, Saquon looks like a Get Out prop, y'all. Like, he looks like a hostage. I can't hold you, but you know, this is just me being humorous, right? Just poking the bear of entertainment, just having fun. I think y'all taking it way too serious. Again, it's crazy. Your boy over there sitting like he wants to get out, but other than that, it's light work, man. In the grand scheme of things of what's going on in our community and the bigger issues we need to worry about, this is light work, y'all. Chill out, man. Pull your skirts down, ladies and gentlemen. It's insane. You got these DL Hugleys and all these black folks always wanting to run amok. And let me remind y'all, this is an athlete, y'all. This is an athlete that I'm sure most of you black folks that are not even into sports didn't give a damn about who Saquon Barkley was. It's like you're fiending for these race baiting takes, man. You're fiending for it. same black folks that always come out here and want you to know that black folks ain't a monolith, but then on the other side of their mouth, they want you to pick a side. And that side always overwhelmingly is leaning liberal, leaning democratic. I mean, the audacity. These are the same people that didn't mind going to the White House with a man with a notorious reputation of being a racist. Yes, I'm talking about Biden. And the same Biden that told y'all, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
The problem is Donald Trump is so popular. See, Donald Trump is a nationalist, Art. They don't want a nationalist. They don't want someone who's looking out for the best interests of America. They want someone who's looking out for the best interests of the global elites. And that is the...
Again, just for clarity's sake, man, this guy right here who's defending Taylor Swift from fans booing her at the Super Bowl. This is the guy that y'all think, oh man, why, bruh? How, bruh? Why it had to be you, bruh? Yeah, Saquon Malcolm X Barkley, right? I just want you guys to see how ridiculous you are, that you're trying to use this paintbrush, right, to think that everyone should be a monolith. You're looking at celebrities as the end all when it comes to being leaders of this community. Y'all sick, man. Look, I can't tell y'all how to feel emotionally when it comes to politics or optics, because this entire Saquon and Donald Trump, debacle or topic, however you want to see it, to me is one big photo op. I really don't care if the man feels like he wants to sit down with his president. And keep in mind, most of the Eagles after winning the Super Bowls went to the White House, and that consisted of black players, white players, Hispanics, etc. It wasn't a big deal. You had several players sat out, most notably Jalen Hurts. I didn't care. If he wanted to sit out of that, so what? I mean, Jalen Hurts ain't no Malcolm X to me. And I always bring out, Malcolm X, because to me, I revere Malcolm, I don't glorify idols, folks. I'm a man and I'm a father. So I'm the hero to my own damn family, personally. Maybe y'all don't feel like that about yourselves and you're chasing leaders and you want them to be perfect. But these are athletes. I could care less, These are the same people that are coming at Saquon, but was deriding Colin Kaepernick. I'm sorry, but some of us don't want to fall for the optics of it all. You guys were just romanticized by Colin's so-called crusade. Where is he now? Where's Colin, ladies and gentlemen? You got a better chance of finding Waldo, man. Colin played on y'all. And you know why black people, Colin Kaepernick, played on y'all? It's easy to play the race game with y'all. All of a sudden, Colin is now donning a fro, Maybe he wasn't black enough. I don't know. He's donning a fro, crusading around for so-called police brutality with his non-black wife. All for police brutality, right? And then what does he do? What does he do when he was trying to take the NFL to court? He settled. And it was crickets ever since. He got a Nike commercial. Look, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It is what it is. And if you know, man, people love to play with y'all because you're hyper emotional when it comes to this race baiting stuff. But I never see y'all have this energy for what we need to be doing in our own communities. Did I lose y'all yet? A black man talking about what goes on in our backyards. Oh no, we're not supposed to do that though. We're supposed to cry about an athlete making his rounds around the White House with Donald Trump, the same Donald Trump that's always notably been around black celebrities his entire adult life. Like this is madness. I thought I would, go more in depth, but this is all I have to say about it, man. I personally wanted to know how y'all feel about all of this, and I want to meet y'all in that comment section, man. Real quick, man, if you're new to my channel, Spike Lee this joint. Please Spike Lee this joint. Do the right thing and go ahead. Like, share, comment, subscribe. got me worried about this man and a white wife. Why do I care that Saquon got a white wife and going to the White House? Saquon Barkley ain't running around here trying to be Malcolm X. That's all I'm saying, man. Do what you want. He's not a hypocrite. Now, Saquon's biggest mistake was supporting Colin Kaepernick during his Penn State days and throughout his rookie year with the Giants. And maybe he knows better now. I can't play this race game because Colin played in y'all face, disappeared, making a ton of money, more than he did playing in the NFL. And Saquon's like, you know what? I'm going to just live my life. He's not my leader, y'all. Chill out. This ain't that deep, man. But what is deep is y'all keep falling for the same okie dokes by the likes of a DL, and I do mean, and I emphasize, DL Hughley, Roland Bullfrog Martin, and Donald Lemon, and all the other usual suspects. Y'all keep falling for it, man. Live y'all lives. I'm sure you got a lot of other shit going on in your personal life. Leave this shit alone. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid, black people. I'ma holla at y'all.